I want to tell you guys what helped me to become less fearful, less scared of tricks, of something really scary in training. I started training with like zero sports background, and training over sand didn't help to be fearless. Like there were many other people around who were learning faster and fast. I felt that I'm just not like the right person. I'm not brave to like throw stuff, and that pushed me to start researching, start reading about how to be less fearful, how to be scared less. And I came across a lot of books about flow, reaching flow state. It's the state that is confirmed like scientifically with brain waves and what's being released in our body. We become like superhuman. We don't feel fear. We don't like even feel ourselves as a separate unit from like the universe. So we feel united with the process that we're doing. Time slows down. Like it depends on how deep you go in a flow. For me, it was a miracle that I want to try. You know, like what is that state of mind? I really want it because everything was scary for me. I had a chance to learn skydive. It's like a 3/4 backflip to chest over mattresses. I was able to do many tries of that trick, and it's not scary to like make the first attempts because you just do like a bailout from the line, like a backflip off, and you land on your feet, and you don't have to be close to the line the first tries. So I did a lot of tries, and at some point like I couldn't figure out why I couldn't be closer to the line, and then I needed help. Zeb helped me a little bit with the technique of the skydive, and I started turning my shoulders the right way. I started to see the line that motivated me to try more. It was the last 2 days of my training at the spot where I was training, and I knew like I couldn't get to this trick at the beach, so I had to try as hard as I could to land this trick before I go back to the beach. One day I trained 5 hours, and then the next day I trained 3 hours. So like the total of 8 hours. It was about to start raining, and everything hurt. Like my butt would hurt, like my body would be just so tight and so painful. Like I told myself, hey, like if you're not gonna do it now, I'm gonna try again and again until like it's raining and until it's dark. So I had to like really put everything on the line, try the hardest to land on the line. I reached that flow state. Like everything, like pain disappeared because of the chemicals that our body releases. I wasn't scared. I had a tree in front of me, and I would see it in slow motion. I would go up, I would see the tree, and then I'd see the line, and then I would grab the line and I would land. That was the flow state. Once I came back to the beach, I was trying to recreate that state, and I thought that to recreate that state, I have to do a lot of hours. Like I have to exhaust myself until my body says, hey, I'm tired enough. Here you go, here's your flow state. So I did reach it afterwards, but then it caused me a lot of pain. Like I messed up my wrist from overworking my wrist. So it wasn't the right way to do it. I started researching more, and I came across the book about deliberate practice. I really like what I learned from the book. The book pretty much is saying, hey, no matter what talent you have, because there is no such thing as natural talent, it matters how you practice, like what you practice, how many hours you put into what you're doing. I read the book. I made the plan that I want to work. Like I made exactly the list of tricks what I wanted to work on. The first day I went to train, and I got slapped on a simple trick on a 180, and I couldn't do 180s anymore for the whole training, and everything I would try that day would just make it worse and worse and worse. I was disappointed because I thought I would find like the way to train and to progress faster, but I ended up being super scared and frustrated. So I wrote an email to the author of the book. I said, hey, like, do you have any experience with fear? He asked me a bunch of questions, and actually like replying to the questions helped me realize a lot about myself. First of all, I realized that I'm scared of being slapped by the line. Getting flipped off the line or getting scraped or landing on my chest it wouldn't scare me. Like it just not something that scared me, and it changed my perception about myself because I thought, hey, I'm just like a maybe not a brave person. But then I realized I'm just scared of a specific thing. And he said the wonderful thing, he said, you have to figure out this fear, how to make yourself feel comfortable, because you can't let it stop your progress. And it almost made me cry because, first of all, he was treating me as a real athlete, which I guess I am. He also pointed out that I have to figure it out. It's just like an obstacle that I have to go over. I know, like in the past, I came up with a slackline pad to make it more comfortable, and it does help, but it doesn't help. Like, it actually makes slapping worse. So I tried tricks with harness on because it wouldn't slap me, or I would ask somebody to put a pad under the line so the line wouldn't slap me, or I would wear my protective jacket more because the line would slap me, but it wouldn't be as bad. So I was aware of my fear. Also, I was aware of what I'm not scared of. So I would try tricks to chest more because I wasn't scared of them as much as I thought after I analyzed it. Another thing he suggested was how to approach hard tricks, like scary tricks, based on my own experience. I told him about what happened with me. I was driving with other trick liners to the competition. The way they drive in Brazil is different from the way they drive in the US. So I was really scared. Like, because they would drive really fast, they would go close to another car, they would like take turns super fast. What helped me was I tried to analyze what was actually going on. Maybe it's called putting yourself in the present moment, but it's a little bit more specific. I would think, okay, so how fast are we going? We're going this fast. So how fast are we going when we're making turns? So at this speed, I guess when we made the turn, it was fine, right? So next time we take the curve with the same speed is going to be fine. So what happens when we go really close to another car? Normally the car just moves to another lane, so nothing bad is happening. So by analyzing and like being in the present by analyzing, I wasn't scared at some point, and after a while I even enjoyed some curves, like some turns. So I used the same technique with scary tricks. So I'm scared of the front flip. Why am I scared? Like, what's scary about it? I'm scared to land on my head. Okay, so you are not landing on your head. Like, you have enough clearance. What else is scary? I'm scared to get slapped. So what am I gonna do about this? I'm gonna do it with a harness on, or I'm gonna do it with somebody putting a pad under the line to prevent me from slapping. What else am I scared of? I'm scared of clipping my feet on the line. Okay, I've never done that. So my body probably knows how to avoid that. So I've started to analyze those things, and I was approaching the flip as a conscious journey. So I would say, hey, okay, let's try it once and see how I feel. Like, how I feel. What do I see? What I don't see while flipping? How do I feel? How does my body feel? What clues I can get from how my body feels? So when I threw it, I felt that I threw it off the line. I think I closed my eyes. I don't see anything. I straightened my arms before when I started to throw it, but then I think I went to the side right away. And it helps me to not be scared. It's like I take it as a journey. I take it as a process. I was like, okay, I'm curious, what's gonna happen? And this helps me a bunch. Another thing that the author of the book suggested, recording yourself, which I already do, but in a different way. I would record myself, but before I would look at the recording, I would think about what happened. So normally, if everything happens according to the plan, like, I don't remember much. But if something goes wrong, then you feel something, you see something, you react, and then something happens. So before looking at the video, I would I would rewind my own experience. I would think, okay, so what did I feel? I feel something weird about my hips. I can't tell exactly, but this is what it felt like. And then I would look at the video, and the video would give me other clues, like visual clues, and sometimes like a hip movement I couldn't even see in the video, but it would give me the clue how to correct the maneuver. It wasn't as scary. At first I imagined fails, but then I imagined how I can land it and how easy it would be. I think my left arm were relatively straight on this side of the line. Yes, my left hand was straight, but then my butt went really well, kind of in the direction I wanted it to go. So it was a really useful tool that I use a bunch. And sometimes it's funny, like with butt flips, I recorded a lot and I would think about it a lot, and I would look at the video and I would think that something was changing, but actually when I analyze the video afterwards, it's really important to like go home after training and look at the videos again, maybe in slow motion, or compare to videos. I saw that the videos were all the same. I saw that all of my tries were the same, even though it felt completely different. So it's not always right, like maybe it is right, but it was just like such a very minor thing that was changing, that it didn't look any different in the video. But it's really important because it teaches also awareness of like what you see, what you feel, gives clues. Like sometimes I was able to figure out the trick just from what I felt, not from the video. But video is actually like really truthful feedback. And the best thing for me, the way I learn tricks, is I would have a video of somebody who does a trick and my video and compare it frame by frame, because that's the best thing. The last thing that was really important was in competitions, I don't have fear. I would just go, like I would envision what I'm going to do on the line, and then I go and I do it, and I'm not scared. Like there's a trick 360 that I'm never able to land it in training, but I always landed in competitions. And he said, so what's different between how you do it in competitions and how you do it in training? First of all, you don't do it in competitions more than like 2-3 times. So maybe you lose the concentration after a few attempts. So once you don't have concentration, don't do that trick. Like don't train it, because it's not useful to do something without being fully focused on it. And another thing, what I did different in competitions was I would imagine what I'm going to do on the line and then envision it many times, like until it's so flowing in my head, and I would be so focused on it, and it would feel that I'm carrying a heavy weight. Like it's just like I'm concentrated so hard that it feels like I'm carrying heavy weight and I can't drop it until I perform this on the line. And then once I do it, it's just like a full relief. And I actually tried it in training. I would spend like an hour before training and just imagine what I'm gonna work on and then go and do it. And if I do it like this, I don't have fear. But also, like once you imagine something, sometimes before you try the trick, you actually imagine like a failure of that trick, like a line slapping you or something. And I would stop. I'm like, okay, so why am I imagining it? I would just like stop, and I either don't do it or I would imagine it until it feels good. Because sometimes you have like a very quick thought before you do the trick, and it's a vision of a failure. It's not a good sign. But if you're very conscious of what you're thinking about, you can notice it. Also, I created a training plan once I was in Brazil, and I figured out that for me, it was best to train every other day. And I would train, like the best training for me was twice a day. I would go in the morning and train for like an hour and a half, because that's when I have the most concentration. And then I would go a second time and I would have still like a very productive hour and maybe longer. but it really expanded the time when I was really focused, when I split my training into two parts, like morning and afternoon part. Also, it helps to warm up on the line, like do something simple. Like it's maybe obvious, but when you do something simple, your body kind of like eases into training and it's not as scared. Because if you jump on the line and you right away do something scary, you might get hurt and then your body will be scared of it. I hope, guys, it's helpful for you. I really want to share this with you because I think it might be so useful for like some people.